Welcome to our pod, and by that I mean on Wednesdays we read. I'm Hannah.
I'm Laura.
And we are two best friends who usually do a deep dive into a new book series, one book at a time. But today, we're still two best friends, but it's Christmas TV movie pick, where we pick a movie that is kind of Christmas, but like, is it? Question mark.
Did you get my quote that I just did there? I was quoting Superstore when Amy is drunk and she comes over. She's like, "It's Christmas, bitches!" In her super nasally voice, because I have COVID, so I feel like I sound like that.
There's something so much funny about when people just like call someone else a bitch. Like, I know it's not okay sometimes, like if you're using it out of anger, but if like it's Christmas, bitches, I find that so funny. It's like that I sent you a TikTok recently. Sorry guys, we're going way off the rails. Laura has COVID. I have a head cold. We're both like mild to put together. We're maybe a full person. I don't know. But
hopefully.
I sent you that TikTok of Andrew Rannells and Josh Gad.
Oh my gosh, they're the best friends. I love their relationship. Josh Gad and Andrew Rannells are like ideal friendship.
But like, it's such a funny clip where Andrew Rannells is like, "How many siblings do I have?" And Josh Gad goes, "2, you slut." And he goes, "No, trash can." And it's like,
he goes, "No, trash can, it's 4."
And he goes, "But you only ever talk about 2." And he goes, "That doesn't mean I don't have more."
It's amazing. It's their Vanity Fair interview, I think. Yeah. And they also mention in there like which Broadway show they have a rivalry with, which is
obviously Merrily We Roll Along with Daniel Radcliffe.
And Jonathan Groff.
Yeah.
Obviously. But the way that they talk about it is so funny. And I really want to see Gutenberg, honestly, because it looks so much fun.
Oh my gosh, I love them so much. But there's something funny about randomly calling someone you love like a bad name. It's very early 2000s of us, because like that was something where
it's like, our millennial showing.
It's our millennial showing where they're like, "Listen skank, listen slut." It's like, I get it, it's not okay, but also I find that stuff hilarious. It's Christmas,
I still do too. Like I'm sorry. So as long as you're not saying like a slur and it's not
right. Yes, like, obviously, like,
don't say slurs, don't say things in malice, but like I think it's funny to, especially if you're saying stuff like trash can or something like that.
Can
like that's hilarious.
It's so
no
funny.
You trash can.
No, you trash can. Like, and the way he says it, it's just, oh god, chef's kiss. I love it so much.
Yes.
But hey, trash can, what have you been reading, watching, and or enjoying?
We're talking about Batman today.
We are talking about
Christmas
Batman.
episode.
Do we not do reading, watching, and enjoying when we do? We didn't. No. Oh my goodness, I'm so out of it. Laura like knows all of our stuff way more. I
have a fairly good memory, actually.
Yeah,
like, for this kind of stuff. I am an audio learner by far, and so like people say things or we say things, and then I just remember them like when they happened, and I don't know why I'm like this. I've always been like this. And I can't explain it.
Can I tell you that my fiance is currently listening to the Poppy War series of us? Ooh. Like, he's listening to our pod because he read
us talk about it.
He's listening to us talk about it.
I thought you meant like the audiobooks. I'm like, ooh, I love those. Emily Zeller.
No. He was like, I was just listening to the episode where you and Laura talked about X, and I like said something, and he's like, "Hannah, you just said that on the podcast." And I was like, well, at least you know I'm consistent about my opinions. Like,
well, it holds up.
Yeah, it holds up. Now, today we are talking about a wonderful Christmas movie called Batman Returns.
Batman Returns. The honestly, Hannah, the pinnacle of superhero movies. I have been sick, so I've been watching so much superhero stuff, like so much. And I think that these movies that are directed by the amazing Tim Burton.
I mean, I have caveats with Tim Burton, but
I'm a Tim Burton fan. Okay, I mean, I love Tim Burton movies.
Okay, that's fine. PC, just so you know, not the greatest man in the world.
I don't know anything about him.
Oh, he has one said that like he said something along the lines, I forget exactly what it is, but like he doesn't have a ton of black people in his films.
Well, that's
and
bad.
He said something about like, well, they don't fit the aesthetic, and it's like, what aesthetic?
What's the aesthetic?
It yeah. So I don't know if he said that or if someone else said that. But like
well, that's bad, and I didn't know that. Actually, I do know this because you told me this about Wednesday.
Yeah, like it's just not. He's fine, but not great. But
I don't know. I don't care to know about his personal life, and I don't want to know about his nasty choices.
So he's admitted to believing black people don't fit his vision or
Don't like
something.
that.
And then he's known for making evil or unlikable characters black. Um, and so
Well, that didn't happen in this movie,
no,
luckily.
I mean, yeah, but like
There's tons of ableism, but
tons of ableism. Really just weird. So we decided to watch the Batman Returns movie because Laura had suggested it. She was like, "It's a Christmas movie, Hannah." And last year it was Gremlins, which was also a Christmas movie. I mean, come
yes.
on. And then I was like, "Oh yeah, maybe." I don't know. And I kind of walked away from it. And then recently I got done watching something with my fiance and his sister, and he went to go play video games, and his sister had never seen either of the original Batman movies. And I
Amazing.
made her sit down and watch the original Batman with me, and then we both sat and watched Batman Returns together. So she got to see
The Michael
both
Keaton
the
Batmans you're talking
Michael,
about.
yes, sorry, Michael Keaton Batman. So she has watched both of them in the last month for the first time ever. And they are fun romps, guys. I fell
They are
asleep.
fantastic movies. Like they're the best of the Batman movies. They're some of the best superhero movies I have watched ever.
I fell asleep during the first one recently, like because I've seen it a million times. And I
Mhm.
woke up during different parts where I'm like, man, this movie in different sections is just a fever dream. And I couldn't tell you whatever happens like in a linear plot line. But I've seen so many of these portions. I'm like, oh
Mhm.
yeah, that fits exactly what's happening
Yep.
in this scene. So
I think some of the acting in these movies is phenomenal. And I also think that especially Batman Returns, it's like Tim Burton was able to just go wild with everything that he wanted to do. It's like the absolute Tim Burton movie ever. I just feel like it combined. You start watching the opening sequence and you're like, oh, this is obviously a Tim Burton movie. Like it just feels like Tim Burton to me when you start watching it. The music and the coloring and the it's just it looks perfect to me. I love it.
it's amazing. I do love these films a lot. I am more of the side of like these are so campy and ridiculous and
Hmm.
like high like fun
Hmm.
that I just have the best time watching them. But like I mean they spurred like if you guys have ever been to Six Flags in America,
Hmm.
like the Batman rides all fit like the more Tim Burton vibe of the
Sure.
Batmans, and like a lot of the jokes from these movies have come. There are some hits and misses because you are right. There's so much ableism in this
Oh,
movie.
there's a lot of
Uh,
bad things that happen, and a lot of sexism and stuff too. Like
so much sexism.
product of its time. 1982. This came out a couple weeks after I was born. So
1992. You said 82, I thought. But
92, 92.
92. Yeah, it came out in 1992. Um, and Michael Keaton, man, so much fun. So
Michael Keaton, hot.
he
We are a fan of that.
except except in the first movie that like I watched this movie again very
Mhm.
recently with someone who had never seen it before. We made so much fun of Michael Keaton's Batman on dates because it's like not a date if you think about it. It's like he takes this woman to his giant palatial home. They eat soup together. It's
And
very
then he abandons
uncomfortable.
them.
And then he's like, "Oh, hey, why don't you come hang out with me and my butler?" And then the butler's like, "Hey, let me tell you all these cute little stories about a man you're on a first date with." And then they have sex. And the next day, Vicky is like, "Do you want to come over to mine for lunch?" And it's like, really, you two just hooked up.
Yeah.
It's not that serious. And she wakes up during the night and Michael Keaton Batman, which is how I will refer to him,
Mhm.
is literally hanging upside down like a bat, either exercising and or saying like, "This is how I sleep, like bat." And she the next morning is still like, "You know what? I would like
You know what?
more
No
time with that
questions.
man.
No
Like,
questions
do
there.
you want to have lunch at my place?" Like,
Yeah, obviously, no questions. He's so hot that you're just like,
he's
I
so
guess
hot.
we'll excuse it. I
I
guess,
think it's just like, hey, billionaires do really get away with anything. Like, if you
yeah,
come over and you're eccentric enough, you're just an eccentric billionaire. But
yeah.
like, yeah, if if I met a man who the next like during the night was hanging upside down to sleep, I think I would try to get out of there, ma'am.
You don't
So
know. You don't know
you
until you've
don't
tried.
I don't know. I don't know how much level of discomfort I'm willing
You
to
don't
deal
know how
with.
much you're willing to put up with, Hannah, until you've tried. You
But like
don't know.
what a weird first date. And then in the second one, he and Michelle Pfeiffer are like going off on weird little tangents. And I'm like, I think he's a bad
He
date. Like,
ditches her constantly.
yeah. And she's like, oh, okay. And it's supposed to be like,
But the way that he continually pursues her is one of those things where it's just like, why do you keep trying to get with her? Because you keep ditching her, my guy. Like, stop.
and like she's half off her rocker half the time, where she's just like, I don't know what's going on. And you're like, stop. This woman obviously needs help. And you're just sitting there like, but hot.
Let's get into the plot here
Okay.
because we got to start describing
So-
some of this because, like you said, it's really a fever dream once you start getting
It's-
into it.
Like you start describing it, and I was like, I'm reading the Wikipedia synopsis right now.
Yeah.
And they'll like talk about it, and they're like, they're making connections where I'm like, I understand where you made that logical connection. The movie maybe doesn't. Like
The movie glosses over a lot of things. Like, it's perfectly normal for some of these things to happen.
where they're just like, oh yes, a random circus person grabbing a child and flipping them into the sewer. Everyone's just like, oh my gosh, no
Yeah.
notes, no questions.
Circus
Like,
people, fine.
fine. They're just wandering the city. I mean, they did wander the city in the last movie too. Lots of
Mhm.
circus people in these movies, but we're crashing into Gotham City, where two wealthy people, one of them is pregnant, maybe. I don't know. She looked very thin in a lot of that.
I don't think she is anymore, is she? Or is
But she had the baby.
Yeah,
she
she
was
had the
recently
baby.
with Greg, and they're horrified because the baby is as Wikipedia calls it, malformed and feral.
I don't know where they got feral.
Well, because doesn't he like attack a cat? Like, isn't that a
Am I
plot
not
point?
remembering that part?
I'm pretty sure the beginning of the movie,
Maybe
he
I
attacks a
think
cat.
that does happen. For some
Yeah.
reason, I'm thinking that was later on. It wasn't like right in the beginning. But
no, I'm pretty sure
yeah,
baby
that's right. That's right.
attacks a cat, so that's probably why they're
Yeah,
calling
that's
him
right.
feral.
Yeah, feral. Mhm.
So like he is feral, but like also harsh. It's a baby. Like the baby doesn't have sentience enough to like know what it's doing, but go off.
But I
So
mean, what
anyway,
would you do if your newborn infant attacked a cat?
I don't know.
You just had a baby. It attacks a cat. You're like, oh, what?
Apparently throw back another martini, because I'm pretty sure that's what they were doing.
A lot of
So-
choices are made in a short amount of time, and they didn't think things through or try to provide for this child in the best way they could.
No, they do abandon the child to the sewers.
Well, they just throw it into over a bridge, basically.
Yeah, they throw it over a bridge, and
and
it just
he floats down, kind of like Moses.
yeah,
in the Nile.
a feral Moses.
He's kept safe in his little carrier, and he floats down into the sewer and ends up in the zoo,
in the zoo with
in
penguins.
the Arctic unit
Also-
with all the penguins.
Also very confusing for my fiance's sister, who legitimately didn't know that the penguin was one of the bad guys in this film and thought it
Oh,
was
no.
just Catwoman. And she's like, "Why is Catwoman with the woman with the penguins?" And I was like,
Oh,
"That's
no.
Penguin." And she's
That's
like,
not
"What?"
Catwoman.
She was very confused. So,
And just for reference, the deformity is that Penguin has some fingers that are bonded together, it looks like.
yes.
So it looks, his hand looks more like a penguin's like flipper, I guess.
right. And there's
Which is
also
where we get the name.
he also does have like different like teeth that are much
Mhm.
sharper. He also has some issues where like he will cough up black things sometimes.
Mhm.
Again, it's like all very ableist and not great.
Yes. It's definitely a horrible portrayal of a disabled child and
Yes.
how people should just throw them out because that's safer. It's because disabled children are scary, apparently. So let's just throw them in the sewer
they're
to save
evil and
ourselves.
feral who will attack cats. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like, that's the important part, I guess. But
This is all bad, and we're definitely saying this, but at the same time, like, we still love this movie because it's Batman and it's all fake. Like, this
yeah,
is
I mean,
not real situation.
again,
this
this
is a
is
fake
a movie
person.
from 1992,
And it's a character. Penguin is not real.
And if you actually want like better representation of Penguin and like or funnier representations, like there are better ones in other comic books and other television series and all of those things. So
We've come a lot farther with portrayals of villains.
yes,
I will talk about this next year when we start talking about reading and watching and enjoying, but we've come so far when it comes to portraying villains in TV and movies.
Yes. But so anyway, we go forward into the future, and it is Christmas because this is a Christmas movie,
This is a
guys.
Christmas movie that was released on June 19th.
And what is a Christmas movie without a villain named Shrek?
Dig it.
Dig
Max
it. I love
Shrek.
every time they say Shrek, I'm like, there is no Green
It was Christopher
Ogre
Walken.
here. I know Christopher Walken doing the most Christopher Walken with like his wig is just Christopher Walkening
He's
all
great in
over
this
the
role.
place. Yeah, he's great. With his random son,
Almost
who he
as good
loves
as his
because
role in the
Daddy.
Country Bears.
Oh my gosh, so much worse, Laura. Just the Country Bears was just so much better. Him and his giant, yeah.
Country Bear Hall is ruined.
Gosh,
Okay,
I can't believe
continue.
we watched that movie. But anyway, Max Shrek is abducted by the Red Triangle Gang, which is a group of famous circus workers who are connected to child disappearances across the country. That's like a blink and you'll miss it plot point where
Yeah,
that's like
any
oh yeah.
connection to the baby that went missing in the beginning here?
Sometimes you see a random newspaper man, Newsy, who is just screaming
Yes.
at people from the 1920s. Because what day are we in? Who's to say? You'll never know.
It's hard to know when things are taking place.
But also, I give Penguin a lot of props because he went from abandoned feral baby to the leader of a gang. And they never tell you how that happened, but I'm fascinated by that backstory.
They instantly respect Penguin, but it's
I
got to be
know.
due to the violence, honestly.
Well, yeah, but like, how did they find him? How did he find them? Like, how did he send them across the country?
Well,
Like,
if they're living
Penguin?
underground, I would
But,
think
like-
there's some kind of tunnel system that they're living underground. But also, this zoo is not monitored very well. If there's just all these people running around down there.
But I'm just like, Penguin, like, we are to assume has just grown up in the sewers for 33 years, but girl bossed his way to the head of a gang. And I'm just really impressed by that ingenuity. Like, good for him.
Also, I'm just going to throw this out here. Like, 33 years, so that means Penguin is
Danny-
33 years old.
Yeah, Danny DeVito is 33 years old.
Did not age well. The makeup they did to Danny DeVito does not look like a 33-year-old Dylan.
If you eat raw fish and don't descale it, it ages you.
Don't be out in the cold. Get some heat on your skin.
Anyway, he is hosting his Red Triangle Gang in the derelict Gotham Zoo. And Penguin appears and he is blackmailing Shrek with evidence of Shrek's corruption and murderous acts, saying like, "Oh, I know where the bodies are buried because I live in the sewers."
Yeah, he's like,
it's very
threw some
funny.
bodies down here.
I found him. And so he wants to reintegrate into Gotham's elite society because it is his birthright, according to Penguin.
Well, because basically, so here's the thing. This is the moment where Penguin starts to like make points, and you're like, I think he's onto something.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, the rich people do have too much, and he was thrown down here, and he really should. It is his birthright to have some of these things. Like, okay, I agree with him. And then when he gets up there and he starts campaigning and doing some of this stuff, you're like, never mind, I changed my mind.
Never mind. It's always that like really weird line when you're talking to someone and you are like, wait, are you a liberal or are you a libertarian? Because they have similar sentences sometimes, but I can't be confused and walk down the path of like, no,
I know.
thanks.
It's one of those things where you're like nodding along with someone, you're like, okay, and then once you have the then it's too much. You're like, nope.
I know.
Go back to before I heard any of that.
Go back, Penguin. I liked you when you were just a guy who was like, listen, society is corrupt and it shouldn't be based on image. Like, I have status here and I should be able, Anyway, so Shrek does orchestrate the stage kidnapping of the mayor's infant son, again, with a random carnival person who just snatches the son.
Does like flips and everything. Like,
there is so much in this movie where like Catwoman will randomly just flip places, and it's like that can't be faster than running. Like, it cannot be. You're not moving any faster.
It's got to be more exhausting, I would think.
Right. And it's just like, look, I know that that's not Michelle Pfeiffer in that Catwoman suit when they're flipping. Like, let's not pretend. Just let her run. It's fine.
I like to pretend it is her, that she knows how to do all those things.
She's so funny.
So then Oswald gets to just like come out because
the sewer literally in a
Penguin,
rubber ducky.
We learn is named Oswald. Oswald Cobblepot.
Yes. It was his birth name. He had to go it's very confusing where he's like, I have to go into the
So
records, like
he's
find
still
out who
going
I
by
am.
Penguin at this point, and he
Yeah,
comes up. He rescues the mayor's infant child and like comes up out of the sewers. Like they have these lifts, like he's Taylor Swift coming out of the stage
and a ducky. It's
in
always
a
a
duck.
ducky.
Hmm. And so then everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, this person saved him, and we're so happy. Who is this? Doesn't matter. We would love for him to run for office." And Penguin's like, "Look, I can't do that now. I have to figure out my heritage. So I'm going to go to City Hall and look this up." And he does, and he goes there and gets a bunch of records while he's there, like figuring out like who the firstborn sons of all
Well, that's the thing is,
Gotham are.
I think we are to believe in this movie that Penguin already knew who he was, but he just wanted to
Oh,
look up the
definitely.
firstborn son.
So it's
So
like a big production of like going to City Hall and like looking,
why
flipping through all
couldn't
the
he just
papers, and
break into City Hall?
then also
Come
going
up with
to the
sewers and rubber
cemetery.
duckies. To see his like deceased parents, when it's like, oh no,
Yes.
he definitely murdered his parents.
It's
Like
like
he
he
went,
does not care about the parents at all.
no, he murdered them for real. But also, why did he just break into the Hall of Records? It's also like public records. Like you could have just gone there without like announcing yourself to the city of
I think that's
Gotham.
like one of the things about this movie where it's like kind of a deal where it's like people are willing to give villains power
Yeah,
and the villains are in plain sight. You know what I mean?
that's
Where
fair.
you can see a lot of the bad things that they're doing because Max Shrek is a villain.
Yeah,
And you can see in plain sight the things that Max Shrek is doing, but the people are so willing to just go along with everything.
right. I know. But so he starts looking for stuff. But also, we cut on over to Shrek talking about meeting up with Bruce Wayne because Shrek and Bruce Wayne should be in the same movie franchise. But during this time, like we meet Shrek's little meek secretary, Selena Kyle,
Mm-hmm.
who is very sad woman because
She's
she
wearing
has
glasses at this
glasses
point.
and a ponytail.
Like she's
Um,
hideous because there's
again,
glasses.
just the disgustingness of Michelle Pfeiffer and glasses
Like
and a
I saw
ponytail.
those glasses and I was like, I'm,
She also
gross.
has like a very chaotic apartment, but kind of in the best way. But also, like, how old was she when this movie was made? Where I was like, that looks like a teenager's apartment. Like, it
It's
is.
just a very much Tim Burton, like, let's make this over the top girly
I know.
apartment. But I love when she comes in and she closes the. Oh no, this isn't yet.
No,
She's not Catwoman yet. Okay.
no, because she's like talking to Shrek, and she has a moment where she was like, "Hey, I was looking over the records, and it looks like they're corrupt. Is that right?" And he's looking at her like, "Why would you admit that you saw that?" And I'm sitting there being like, "Selena, why did you admit that you saw that? Like, you didn't need to do that. You could have kept your mouth shut."
And this is proof that the people that try to stand up for what's right get punished at times.
I know, because she inadvertently uncovers that his plot is to build a power plant which could covertly siphon and hoard electricity from
Hmm.
Gotham.
And so
And
Shrek's like, dang it, you found me out.
have
Gonna
to
have to
murder
murder
you.
you.
And so he pushes her out a window. Uh and also like doesn't he break his office window, which is like, dude, that's so easily like
Hmm.
caught if they found her body. This only works if she becomes Catwoman.
Hmm.
Um but anyway, some cats come up and she survives. She starts breathing again after the cats awaken her. She returns home. And she like comes into the door and she does a repeat line of what she
Of
did
what she
earlier.
said before, which
Because
is
like
so
she
funny.
comes home and she's like, "Hi, honey, I'm home. Oh, I
And she's like,
forgot. I don't
I
have a
forgot. I
husband."
don't have a husband.
And so then she repeats that line and she starts like she has like a giant like written thing that says hello there. And then
Hmm.
she smashes some of the letters on it and then it says hell here.
Hell here is what the neon sign then says, which is amazing.
And then she like starts she pulls out a leather jacket a la
Mhm.
Grease too, if you were a fan of it, which Laura and I both were.
We
And
were definitely fans.
we were definitely fans of Grease too. Maybe that'll be next year's Christmas movie. It's back to school season. It doesn't matter. So anyway, she starts sewing some leather together because she is an expert craft woman.
Not gonna lie,
Um,
when she was sewing this, it did not look like leather at all. It looked like a trash bag.
I mean, it doesn't. I mean, when it's on, it doesn't look like leather. That just looks like
No,
pleather that they like made her sweat
really
in
sloppily
for.
stitched together. Like the
Oh
way that
God,
people ooh and ah over this Catwoman costume, I'm like, this is not the best one. People, I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know. She looks
She does
pretty
a great
amazing in it.
acting
Like
job, but I'm I'm not sold on this costume.
that's very fair, but I do like the costume. I'm not gonna lie. Even if it is just pleather. So anyways, she like goes out onto like rampages where she'll save women and then shame them for being victims.
Which is
Uh
weird. It's like she
I
saves a woman from possibly being like sexually
assaulted.
assaulted,
Yeah.
and then she like the woman is like, "Thank you so much. I'm gonna get back to the people I'm with. Thank you. I really appreciate it." And she like cuts her off and is like, "You, what is wrong with the you need?" And it's like, "What?
Can we also talk about the fact that like
What?"
we're very like quite a bit of time has passed and have not seen hide nor hair of the Batman during
It's
this
not
time.
about
It's
Batman.
not about Batman. It has never been about Batman. It's
We
about
don't
these
care about
villains.
Batman in this."
So all of a sudden we do get like a bat signal. And the funniest thing of like when the bat signal comes, like a light moves on Wayne Manor and flashes into Bruce Wayne's library. And all I could think was like, maybe Vicky Vale left you because that's obnoxious.
It's the light in the middle of the night. She could deal with him hanging upside down, but it's that light flashing in the bedroom window.
It's like,
The
does it
Vicky's
have
like,
to be on the
no.
whole house? And also, like, how has no one figured out that Bruce Wayne is Batman? He has a contraption that shines the bat signal into his house.
He just likes to be informed.
He just likes to be informed. Bruce
I'm
Wayne,
just gonna say, like,
nosy Nelly.
Bruce Wayne Batman is honestly maybe the least convincing, like, alter ego that I can think of any of the superheroes. That I haven't watched any Superman movies, honestly, because just putting on glasses and being Clark Kent seems even less
That's
of
very fair.
a disguised, but I always felt like Gotham City and all the people of Gotham, they like just weren't doing their homework
They're
trying to
not doing
figure
their
out
homework.
who Batman was. Even in like some of the newer Batman movies, it's like, come on, just like take two looks around and you can tell it's Bruce Wayne.
He has so many gadgets. He has so
Like,
many gadgets. He's
who has
obviously a
access to all these
billionaire with
things? It's
too
got to be
much time on
somebody
his hand.
rich.
But like, yeah, I don't know. I also think like Bruce Wayne just donate money. Like every time I watch these movies, I'm like, yeah, he's just not dealing with poverty.
Yeah,
He is just a rich man who's like, I know what can solve the problem. And everyone's like, infrastructure. And he's like,
it's like my
me.
fists.
Oh, sir, no, infrastructure will work, I promise.
The car
Um,
with guns can solve the problem.
so anyways, Bruce Wayne does not trust Penguin. He does not trust Shrek.
Yeah, because he's watching this stuff on the news and he's like, this seems all a little fishy.
He thinks that Penguin is connected to the Red Triangle game, but he cannot prove it. He's like, why are they so obsessed with firstborn children? What a weird vibe. And then he's also meeting with Shrek and being like, hey dude, I'm not approving your power plant. I think it looks shady. I think that there's enough electricity through government programming. And then Shrek is like, you know what would fix this for me? Cobblepot for mayor. That's what'll fix it for me. There's also a moment where when sorry, I'm all over the place. When Bruce is like investigating Cobblepot, they're like talking to each other outside of a building, and then Catwoman does flip, 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 flip up to them, and she blows up a department store, and everyone goes, "Woo, that's fun!" And Cobblepot goes, "I saw her first because 33-year-old Danny DeVito cannot go 2 seconds without
Is
sexually harassing a
a
woman."
harasser. Like, oh,
Um, but also when Shrek is meeting with Bruce Wayne during this time, Selena Kyle walks in and she's alive, and he's like, "What's going on?" And I I never get this point because he just tried to murder you. Why did you
mhm.
return to work? Why was your next goal like, hey, gotta get back to that grind?
So
Like,
I don't know if it's just the shock factor of it all, where she's like, you know what? I'm going to get my revenge and also just rub it in that
right?
he couldn't kill me.
Or like, did she actually not remember? Because at point she's like, it's all a blur. Like, I know that I remember.
I think that's just playing into it.
I thought so, but I also was just very confused because like she's talking and like Bruce Wayne again is like hubba hubba hubba, and she is acting like she's saying she has a head trauma,
Yeah.
and Bruce Wayne is still like, can't wait to force myself on her
Bruce
to
Wayne
be my
pays zero
girlfriend.
attention to anything going on.
And he's just like hubba hubba hubba.
And
He's
is
the
like,
worst detective.
I need a girlfriend extremely badly.
The last blonde I liked left me, so I will now try for a secretary.
Mhm.
And
And it's like
so
she's providing all the clues here to who she is if you would just pay attention, Bruce, but you don't.
again, there's like
And
a
it's
thin veil
something
for
where
all
it's
of
like,
this.
listen to women is maybe like a message that we can take away.
Well, and so then like Shrek is talking to his son, Shrek
Mhm.
Jr., and he's like, well, I might have to kill her
Shrek 2.
again.
Shrek
Shrek
2.
2, the Shrekening. Uh and so
Then Shrek the Third is the baby.
uh Shrek the Third is the baby who fell into the circus performers sewer. So anyway, and then we have the gang like we also in one of the most like asinine scenes ever, Shrek goes to talk to Cobblepot and get him to run for mayor. And
Mhm.
he walks up to this attic space and there's just the triangle gang sitting in a corner staring at him. And I'm like, what do they do with their time? How are they so effective at stealing firstborn
They
children?
just flip around and then sit there.
Well, and then they're like in this like very open attic space that's like
And everyone's
derelict.
down below.
And everyone, and he's like, I have a surprise for you, Oswald. And he gives him a fresh fish that he starts eating, just
Yes.
eating fish. And he takes him
And it's
downstairs, and there's a
gross.
group of all these people wanting him to run for mayor and being like,
Yeah.
love you, Cobblepot. And he
And he's like, you
harasses
know
a
what?
woman. He
I could
bites the
use
nose
some.
of a man.
Yeah. He's like, I could use some more power. And it's like, why is nobody questioning like that half-eaten fish in his hands and like all the
Right.
stuff running down his face? Like, what?
Why is no one questioning why there is a derelict attic space up above this like
Or
office space?
that
Like
he bit
who
someone's nose
and like
and
how did he get that? Like, did Cobblepot own the space in the attic, or was he just like
I think
squatting
he was
there?
just hanging
But
out
then
there because Shrek's kind of like stringing him along all this time.
I guess Shrek was like, "Hey, go over to that house or go over to that office space, hang out in the attic. It has much more of a like
For Shrek,
house
he thinks
vibe."
that Oswald is going to be just this like distraction and yes man for him.
Right.
And it obviously is not going to be that because Oswald's like, here's the deal. I'm hungry for power and I have never been treated the way that I should have been. And some points could be made that yes, Oswald needs to have been treated better, but let's go about things a different way. Oswald, come
Let's
on.
go about power and not firstborn children. It's a really weird vibe
Yeah.
to be that obsessed
Like
with babies.
this you go about things in a weird way. Not saying you don't make some points, but too much.
And so anyway, there's like the Triangle Gang is wreaking havoc on Gotham to discredit the mayor. They take over Batman's car at one point where Oswald is like on
Oswald's like,
a
you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna make the city hate Batman. And how do we do that? Drive the Batmobile into everyone and kill a bunch of people.
I mean that would make me very anti-Batman if Batman just started rampaging on the
Thing
city. You're
is, do
right.
people know that that's Batman's car? I don't. It's never really.
It's like they did. Like
I
I
don't
don't
know. It's
know.
never really explicitly mentioned, but Batman does manage to get the car out from under Oswald's control before it hits a
Also,
little old lady.
my partner's sister pointed out like he had to have that contraption built on how to drive the Batmobile. How much of his campaign funds are going to just random gimmicks? Like he did one thing to do one thing. That's so zany and unnecessary.
Well, and it's like he's in this little thing that is basically like a race car,
It's a
like
little
video
kid's
game
race car
thing.
video game, like and a duck. Again, it's always a
Yes.
duck. Like he's on a little duck riding the Batmobile kind of thing, and he's
Yep.
just like moving around, being like, "Haha, Batman! I'm gonna run this town.
Hmm.
I'm gonna run Gotham into the ground," and he like insults all
Yep.
these people. And Batman is obviously stuck in a car and he's trying to figure out what to do, but he's also has the wherewithal to be like, I'm gonna tape this in case he says something
Yep.
incriminating. Uh,
Which is good.
which is good. So he uh then he keeps Batman keeps being the worst detective in the world, and he like goes out with Selena Kyle, and they
Because he's
both
just
like
too interested in like having a fun
yeah,
time with Selena.
he's really on the rebound from Vicky in the last movie, who just loved him for who he was, but then couldn't handle the Batman of it all. Uh, and also during this time, Batman like pushes Catwoman off of a some sort of thing, and she falls into
Mhm.
kitty litter, as she calls
Mhm.
it. So she decides to ally herself with Penguin, and she almost eats a bird, which is how I sold this movie to people. Like, the one where Catwoman almost eats a live bird.
That's how you told people about it. You're like, it's the one where she eats a bird.
Yeah, of course, because that's like the scene that sticks
Interesting.
out in my mind. And then Cobblepot almost murders her cat, which he's already a cat murderer,
I feel
so fair enough.
like her alignment with Oswald, it's not necessarily that she's like that she likes him because she finds him disgusting,
Yeah, she
but
wants she
she's
wants to get
just
rid of the Batman.
yeah, she's angry with Batman and with Shrek, and so she's just kind of like, you know what, Batman's in my way for like stopping me from what I wanted to do, so he's got to go. Looks like you also want to get rid of him.
Let's do it together. And so they plan to kidnap the Ice Princess, which is Gotham's beauty queen, at the Christmas tree lighting, and to lure Batman to the roof above the ceremony to blame Batman for murdering the Ice Princess. Uh, so
Flawless
Oswald
plan.
Oswald does in fact succeed. Like Batman
Yep,
tries to save her, he can't. Bats come up
it looks
and
like he did it.
it was very funny because she's literally sitting on a ledge and Batman walks onto this roof and she goes, he let me go. I guess you scared him. And I'm like, ma'am, you're on a ledge. What makes you
Why?
think you're in
Why
the
would you think you're
clear?
safe?
But anyway, Catwoman goes to meet with Cobblepot after this, and she's like, hey, you didn't say that you were going to kill the Ice Princess. And he like tries to come on to her. She rejects his romantic advances. And
It's like a disgusting way that he tries to come under like ill. Like I don't like it. Like all of Oswald's attempts to come onto Selena Kyle are disgusting.
it's just well, it's just he's gross with all women where he's just like way too
Yes.
forward. It's not okay. And then like immediately after she's like, hey, this was just a business partnership, which is her right.
Mhm.
He like tries to hang her from one of his umbrellas and
Yeah.
pretty much murders her. And during this, we are like to believe that Selena Kyle has 9 lives, and certain
Mhm.
times during the movie she is
Yeah, because she's
quote
like
unquote
mentioning
killed.
like, oh, somebody tried to kill me, but they failed. Now I've got 8. And yeah,
So like we're supposed to think the first time that what's his face tries to kill her,
Shrek.
that's down to 8. When she falls off the bridge into the kitty litter, that's 7 lives left, and then
Mhm.
this is her 6th life left, 6 lives left. So anyway, she's going to take revenge on Cobblepot if she can get to him. Um Batman does this is where Oswald has him like doing a rampage on the city after he killed the
Mhm.
Ice Princess, but he is able to use the audio of Oswald's derogatory tirade against Gotham's citizens, being like, I'm gonna burn Gotham to the ground and I'm gonna take everyone and one of these
Well,
idiots with me.
I was gonna say he calls them idiots, which is what ends up being the big issue. Not the fact that he's like, I'm gonna burn this city to the
Corrupt.
ground and that I'm corrupt. It's calling them dumb. It is what really gets to them, where they're like, what? We're
Look,
not
I
dumb.
can excuse a lot of things. Wait, I can excuse
We
killing my
can
entire
excuse
city, but
killing the
not
whole
calling us
city, and
dumb. Killing all the firstborns, but not
you
being
could kill
called
all the
stupid.
firstborn children, and you could kill the Ice Princess, and you can steal all our money, but you better not call us dumb.
Look, sticks and stones will break our bones, but words will also hurt us.
Yeah,
Like, But also this scene always makes me laugh because like Oswald gets like his comeuppance at a speech for this mayoral rally,
Mhm.
and Batman's just like in his little bat cave with like a DJ set up, like he's like putting in a
He's the
CD.
ultimate hacker.
I know, and he hacks into the system and he starts playing it through the microphones, and Oswald's like, I'm not the one saying that. And people also kind of get confused that this isn't like a
Yeah.
pre-recorded message for a second, and he's just saying it in his speech. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe he had a point when he called you dumb. Like,
Mhm.
just throwing it out there. It seems like that was a pretty dumb move on all of your parts.
Oswald's got a lot of points.
But at this moment, he's like, I hate you all. I called
And
you
it's also one
stupid,
of those
but now
things
you
too
don't
where
like me.
now that I'm thinking about it, Batman has all this surveillance material and everything. Like, why isn't he using that more and just like being the world's best hacker in order to save the world?
He'd use so many things before he uses a Batmobile and a costume where he can't turn his neck
An
to the left or
ineffective
right.
costume. Like,
He literally has to move his whole body when he turns because Michael
yeah,
Keaton does not have the capability to turn his head in
no.
that costume.
Which makes
But
me again think like, why is he not just sitting at home and is like, okay, Alfred, time to get on the computer. We need to hack and save the world through our hacking.
you just don't feel like yourself, Master
We're
Wayne.
hackers.
We're hackers now. But anyway, he he Penguin gets horrified at like being they start throwing vegetables at him and
Yeah, and he's
tomatoes,
like,
and
they
people
always
are
have
like,
tomatoes, and it's like, what
why
they do?
do they always have tomatoes? Who brought those? Like, how much, like, what was happening where people all of a sudden had
Like, I
tomatoes and
have
lettuce?
never seen people just randomly throw vegetables when they're
I've never
upset.
seen someone go to a mayoral like race where people like didn't ahead of time say like, oh, we want to throw vegetables on them. They were like, no, 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 we think they're a
I've
chill person.
never heard
But
of
what if
anyone
we
throwing
want to
vegetables.
turn on them? Like we have to like we kind of like what he's saying right now. We're gonna go see. But if he calls us idiots, we did pack our vegetables. Like
We went to the grocery store, so we're prepared.
we're just prepared just in case Batman randomly tells us that Oswald
If we don't
Cobblepot
like the
called us
news, we've
stupid.
got
We've got
vegetables.
tomatoes.
If we like the news, salads later.
Yeah, it's a win-win, guys. Like, are you coming to the salad party later? It depends on how the mayoral rally goes, okay? I'm just gonna say it right now. So anyway, Oswald like runs and he embraces the penguin name again.
He's like, forget it. I'm no longer Oswald. I am Penguin.
I'm no longer running for mayor. I know you guys all wondered about it, but I have decided to quit my campaign. Ask the newsie about it. So anyway, they there is now a gala where Bruce Wayne is still going after like Oswald Cobblepot is like, hey guys, let's steal every firstborn son and avenge my own abandonment. That's what he's gonna do. And Bruce Wayne says, you know what I have time for? A gala break. We're
Mhm.
gonna go to a charity ball.
There's always time for one of those.
And so he starts dancing with Selena, and they talk about how they wear masks and how people never understand them, but they are so alike. Da, 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 da. This only works if you know that they are Batman and Catwoman, but neither of them know that. So
So it doesn't
anyway,
make any sense. It
she
only
talks,
works if you know, but they don't
but
know, so
they
it
don't
doesn't
know.
make sense. Can you imagine that conversation where they're like, what the heck is he talking about?
I
Like,
know, like there's so many moments where in movies I'm like, if you did they not think about the fact that she does not know that he's Batman at this point?
mhm.
Uh, but at one point she's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna kill Shrek," and he's like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna like go kill him with your high heels or something." She's like, "No, with this," and she pulls
With
out a
this gun.
gun, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, Selena!" And he tries to get her to stop, and she's like,
So
"You
he's
don't
gonna
know what
try to
it's
talk her
like to
down.
not have control and to be da da da." Da. And then suddenly Penguin crashes the event and he kidnaps Shrek's son, Shrek the third. Shrek the second.
Shrek the fourth.
But
Shrek
Shrek
2.
is
I
Shrek the
think this is
fourth
Shrek
when
2.
I feel like this is Shrek 2, but it's not Shrek the fourth when everybody who forgets who Shrek is and he has an It's a
Yes.
Wonderful Life moment because apparently that happens
Yes.
in the fourth Shrek film. I have
It
never seen it.
does. I've seen all of them. I saw all of
Of
them in
course you
theaters.
have. Theaters. That's
I
amazing.
did. I
That's
went and
good.
saw all of them in theaters.
I watched so many Shrek movies growing up, man. I watched Shrek a
I'm
lot
a
growing up.
huge Shrek fan. Huge Shrek
Uh,
fan.
well,
Not Max Shrek.
I
Shrek
mean,
of the
it seems
Swamp.
like you were a
Shrek.
little bit of a Max Shrek fan, so
I like the actress portrayal in another movie that is
that's fair.
near and dear to my heart.
Well,
Country
so
Bears.
Shrek offers himself over to Penguin instead
Yeah,
of
he's like, I'm
Shrek
the one
the
you want.
second.
Why not just take me instead of Shrek 2?
And then Batman is easily able to neutralize the Red Triangle gang to stop the kidnappings. I don't know why. Which forces Penguin to deploy a missile equipment penguin army to destroy Gotham by exploding his family, I guess. Like that's what
So
the
this was weird because it's like, why didn't he just do this in the first place? Because these penguins are all controlled by like little
right.
chips,
Maybe he
apparently, and they
just
all start going up out of the sewers into Gotham, and they're gonna like attack, and then he's gonna blow everything up. But it's like, why blow everything up? Because what's the point?
I don't know. And also like this doesn't make sense to me because those are his family. Like he was like,
Hmm.
"Hey, the people of Gotham for
They
so
rejected me.
they rejected me. My dog is very upset about that." But
Hmm.
like I'm going to go back to my original family in the zoo, but also I'm going to
I'm
murder
gonna
all
use
of
them
my
as
penguins.
tools and murder them.
Yeah, it just does not make
I'll
sense
sacrifice them.
whatsoever. I get very confused by it. Um,
And they almost get there to do it.
they almost get there, but then
Alfred,
Alfred, who is also
hacker
a hacker,
extraordinaire.
great at hacking, he overrides the Penguin's control signals and he
And they go back to the
redirects them
zoo.
back to the Gotham Zoo. As the missile destroys the zoo, Batman unleashes a swarm of bats, which makes Penguin fall into contaminated waters at the Arctic exhibit. And then Catwoman arrives to kill Shrek. And Batman has a moment where he's like, "We're two of a kind. You could abandon your hatred and we could
It's
live
like we
together."
could
They've
be
known each
hot
other a week.
together.
Do you
We could be
think that
hot
like
together.
so I watched the show Harley Quinn,
Okay.
and in it they make Batman very much a himbo who's just obsessed with wanting to be with people and hating how he is portrayed in
And
film.
and what's
And like and I'm
find the
like,
difference between
no,
these two pictures? I it's the same
it's the
picture.
same picture. And I'm like watching this, I'm like, no, this is very much like they get the joke because it like he's very much like I am not over Vicky Vale, who I knew for all of 2 weeks before she left me for a job. And then he knows Selena for all of like 4 days. And he's like, you know what? Let's spend the rest of our lives together.
Mhm.
We both love pleather.
We're the same. We need to wear costumes and be hot together.
And so she's like, no, thank you. I'm going to kill Shrek instead. And she is shot 4 times by Shrek, and she keeps talking about how her different lives are there. And she
She's
says
like, I
she's
still
going to
have
have,
lives.
she has two
The
of her
Batman
9.
tried to kill me.
The penguin tried to kill me. You tried to kill me. And she
And the
comes to
hair is
have,
just coming out of this
oh, like,
mask. Like
it's just the most wild of like some of the pleather has ripped off,
she's starting
but
to look really
most of it
sloppy.
hasn't. But anyway, she electrocutes Shrek, causing a power surge, which apparently kills them both. But the remains of Shrek are the only remains that they find.
Mhm.
And then Penguin does return in a weird, like, I'm back, but he dies, and then he is laid to rest by his penguin family, who he
Mhm.
was about to murder. I mean, come
Yeah,
on.
the way that they are still loyal to him is absurd.
And then sometime later, Alfred drives Wayne home. He sees
And he
Selena's
says, "Merry
silhouette,
Christmas, Mr. Wayne."
but he finds only a cat, and he takes the cat with
Well, yeah,
him.
because they're driving, and he's like, he tells him Merry Christmas. It's snowing. It's beautiful. And Bruce Wayne's like, wait, stop the car. I saw a cat in that alley. I think it was Catwoman. And so they go over, and it's just a cat. But
But she is watching them in the background, so she did
she
live,
did live,
guys.
and the bat signal
I
goes too.
mean, and the bat signal goes on. This movie is wild, but so fun.
This movie is phenomenal. I've
I
watched
can't.
this since I was a little kid, honestly. Like my I feel like my parents did not police me enough when it came to what shows I was watching because I remember I have like distinct memories watching this as a child.
Well, I feel like there's something about these types of movies where like I too also grew up with them in a very specific way where we watched a lot of these types of things very early on. I feel like it also has something to do with the fact that like kind of what we talked about with our Gremlins episodes, like the rating system was a little bit
Hmm.
wacky where like people didn't know how rating systems worked,
Sure.
even though this was, I think, PG-13. But like there were some movies where if our parents were like, well, as long as they're not R, as long as we're around, you're fine,
Hmm.
even though that probably wasn't true.
Yeah, because a lot of the
Um,
themes and everything in this and some of the suggestions are quite a bit darker.
yeah, and like there's so much like double entendres,
Hmm.
discussions of sex that like went right over our heads.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's very strange, but
Well, and then like we said, like some of just like the blatant mentions of like ableism and things of that nature that is just like, oh, okay, should we be teaching kids this kind of thing? But yeah, and then there's like obviously like the over sexualization of Catwoman and
Hmm.
some of these things like yeah, the comments made directed toward her like yeah.
Well, and you talk about this, you talked about this a little bit with like the whole penguin of it all, where we're like, well, he has good points that he makes
Mhm,
sometimes, where again, like Catwoman makes a lot of points about like my life is always like inherently in danger because I am a woman
mhm,
who is
mhm,
like sexually viable, and like that's not okay, and I should be able to take my revenge. And even like Batman is like, don't kill him, you'll like corrupt yourself. And she's like, this
mhm,
man tried to murder me and like took away my sense of
mhm,
safety. And like, and it's intimated was like a horrible boss. Like, obviously, I'm not advocating for murder, but like, she makes points of like, I don't have
mhm.
to be with you to be happy. Like, I've
Right.
known you a week, my guy. That's not what this is about.
Mhm,
And like, she talks about that a lot, where she's like, hey, I just wanted a business partnership, or hey, I just wanted this. And like, a lot of times she's like, really like shit on by the people around
mhm.
her because, or like Batman just being obsessed with her when it's like, dude, this woman is like giving you all the telltale signs of kind of being like not in a good place. And he's
Yeah.
always like, you know what? She
He
seems like a
completely
viable
ignores it.
romantic partner. And it's like, that's not okay.
It's
Like,
honestly a really interesting portrayal of women's experience and things because even when she is Catwoman, she's not taken as seriously
hmm.
and she's like the things that she does are downplayed and she's focused on for her sexuality. Like Oswald completely ignores the things that she wants to do and is more focused on sexualizing her.
Or
And
stealing her ideas, because he's like,
yep.
well, we're gonna make him into a bad guy. She's like, well, we have to ruin the bad. I'm here to help. And he's like, okay, well, here's some ideas. And like, but like, she is a huge integral part, and he does mess
Hmm.
up stuff a lot. And it's always like he's supposed to be the big bad of this movie when it's like,
Hmm.
well, is he? Like,
Hmm. And like Bruce obviously is missing the mark on several accounts with Selena as well, like
mhm.
in as Catwoman and as Selena. So she's definitely a really interesting portrayal of womanhood and how women are multifaceted and not treated with enough respect in positions of power either. Like
Right.
she is in a position of power and also in a position where she has to answer to superiors, and she's treated poorly in both of those roles. So I think that's really interesting to see the duality of that and
Hmm.
how it plays out with different men in her lives. I don't know how you
Yeah.
say that.
Lives. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. And well, yeah, I really, I think like she really speaks to a lot of women, because like
Hmm.
this has been a portrayal that has like kind of stood the test of time as this type
And
of
it's really an
Catwoman.
iconic role.
Right.
And I
And
know like going forward, this was a role that like there were hundreds of thousands of people probably that had Selena Kyle from this Batman, like Catwoman posters and
gosh,
everything,
I was
like
obsessed with her.
highly sexualized
Hmm.
character that people really were obsessed with this character. So I I think that this is a character that's really resonated with people and it's nice as an adult to kind of see some of the themes of that
Yeah.
that you maybe missed when I watched it before.
Yeah. I do think, and I think it, like, you're right. A lot of the themes we kind of miss because we did grow up with this movie. So it's easy to
Hmm.
kind of sit there and be like, well, this movie is just like something we watched as children or something we
Hmm.
love. But you're right. Like, there's a lot about like politics, sexuality. Like,
Hmm.
I'm looking at the
And it's
Wikipedia
also,
page,
I
and they're like
even though
talking about
she's
the
like a
loneliness.
sexualized character, it's also like I wouldn't say that she's one of those characters that you think of as being like, oh, well, we're just getting like the male gaze boobs
Right.
cleavage shot all the time. Like obviously she's in a very tight outfit. She has super good body, but it I don't know that I would say that this is like a it is very sexualized, but I wouldn't
Yeah,
say that there aren't roles that are more sexualized in terms of superhero.
that's fair. Well, and I
Like
like
Princess
this.
Leia is in a bikini.
Oh my
So
gosh. Yeah.
let's just throw that one out there.
Well, and I actually like this because like a lot of movies kind of talk about like a lot of sorry, I'm trying to get my thoughts straight, but like a lot of movies often have like women have sexual trauma and that's the only type of trauma they have.
Mm-hmm.
And like Selena has that, but she also has other types of trauma and like that's complex. Like she has like workplace, like she was like
Well,
harmed
and
in
she
the
has
workplace and she has
moral dilemmas that she's dealing with,
yeah.
trying to, like, she works for someone who is going to be really harming the city that she lives in, and she's trying to deal with that, like, okay, like the capitalism of it all. And she's like, okay, I really need to turn this person in, and this is not a great situation. What do I do? And goes to the person thinking that they're maybe still good, and
Mhm.
it doesn't work out well. So there's a lot of different situations that I feel like women in a role where they're like answering to superiors have to deal with.
Right. And so I like that about this movie where it's not just kind of only about her sexuality or only about this.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are other layers to that. And I also think that like the same goes for Penguin because we talked about a lot of the problematic parts of Penguin. But I also think it kind of shines a light because like on this watch, I got more frustrated with Batman on how like quick he was to just assume Penguin was evil.
Was
Um,
Batman even in this?
is Batman even in this? Because it's like I think in
Someone
this
returns.
like Penguin is someone who has been ostracized from society. And it almost felt very frustrating to watch it like in 2023 when it's like, Batman, you're not a good person because you assumed a guy who was like cast out of society has to be evil. Because like it just shows that you reinforce some of the toxic cultures that you were like born into, which is the whole thing about Batman that like he gets critiqued on a
Mm-hmm.
lot for nowadays, where it's like he could just save stuff with infrastructure, but he has to have this like self-inflated ego of
Thinks he
like
needs
I'm
to
the
get
only
involved.
one who could do this instead of just like oh maybe if you helped those people in this giant town where like they spend too much money on statues
Mm-hmm.
we can admit that
Mm-hmm.
but like it's interesting to see these types of like villains
Mm-hmm.
kind of come up, especially after the last movie where it was more about the Joker, and the Joker is always kind of called like the easiest or like it's the most intense villain to do for like actors, but the Joker is always supposed to be kind of just like dark and twisted, and these two have like different layers to them.
Yeah, for sure. I also think too that this is one of those situations in this movie where it's like the villains are kind of flipping things on their head,
Hmm.
where you have to, like, you were just mentioning some of the downsides of Bruce Wayne, where a lot of times movies would portray Bruce Wayne as being like the pinnacle of hope and does nothing wrong, and maybe like the angel that we're all needing. I would
Hmm.
say that the villains in this movie definitely are like, look, you're not always the good guy. We're not always the bad guy. We've
Hmm.
got some good points, and viewers can actually be like, oh, well, they do make some points. That there's some points made.
Well, and
It's
like I
just
think the
so off the wall that it takes away from them. But
Well, and I think a lot of the times it's like what you want to do. Like you can make good points and still like the villains become villainous because of how far they're willing to take it. So like Penguin is it's almost like, well, it's fine if he's just corrupt, but like when he tries to murder random people,
mhm,
that's when you're like, well, you've gone too far. And even Catwoman is like, hey, you've went too far. I don't want
yeah,
to kill innocent people. I do want to murder my boss.
yeah,
And that's harder to deal with where it's like, well, you don't want anyone murdered, but you can make good points and still be in the wrong if it's like too much.
hmm. Hannah, who was your favorite character in this?
I mean, I love Selena Kyle. I was always obsessed with Selena Kyle. I really like Michelle Pfeiffer as well. Grease 2
Hmm.
stands for life. So I think between those two things, it was always going to be her just because but also like this rewatch, I was like, oh, Selena, like, don't be doing what you're doing with Bruce Wayne. Like, go away. Why are all these people dating this billionaire? And it's like, oh, because he's
Yeah,
a billionaire.
because he's a hot
Um,
billionaire. That I Mystery solved.
But she is
Even Batman
very
could solve that one.
she is very campy. I've always loved her nails, like the nails she puts
Hmm.
through. Like I think that that's super fun.
Hmm.
And just her portrayal is so wacky. It's just so fun. I love it. But it sounds like your favorite was Shrek, correct?
No. My favorite is Danny DeVito as Penguin.
Oh, good. I mean, it's a
I
good
don't know that
one.
I've seen a ton of Danny DeVito films, honestly. Like I don't know that I can recall a lot of his acting besides like Matilda and It's Always Sunny.
Mm.
So this has always like stood out in my mind as like the Danny DeVito film. And I just really appreciate how much he went for it in this because like this is so off the wall, so strange and creepy, and he just went for it with it. Like he does not hold out. Like
No.
the facial expressions, the voice, the creepy potato sack diaper type thing that he's
Oh my
wearing,
gosh.
like
That
that
is so
outfit, like
upsetting.
it the outfit and everything, like the fish, like everything that the breathing, even he sounds like he's got COVID
Mhm.
as much as me. Like he, it all is just a great portrayal of this character, and then he's able to add a lot of nuance to the character, I think,
Yeah.
through the way that he acts. And I don't know that another actor would maybe be able to do that as well.
Yeah, I do think that this is very much a perfect role for a perfect person. Like I think he has
Hmm.
a very interesting take on it.
Yeah, it said on the
Uh
Wikipedia page they were looking at Robin Williams, but that's like really hard for me to picture.
oh, I feel like it would just be I think it would almost be like I feel like Danny DeVito has a little bit more of like wild energy, like the
Hmm.
always sunniness of him, where he can like kind of be like, oh, I'm not afraid to be a terrible person. And Robin Williams did that sometimes, but I feel like he didn't hit it as much with like his comedy slash drama.
Hmm.
Um, but interesting, an interesting sliding doors moment. But yeah, I
And
love this
Michael Keaton,
movie.
hot.
And
This
guys,
is one of my all-time favorite movies. Like,
this is a Christmas movie, guys.
it is a Christmas movie.
It is a
It
movie.
takes place at Christmas time. They say Merry
Yes.
Christmas. There's tons of snow.
There's so much snow. Merry Christmas, Mr. Wayne, Master Wayne. I loved have you been like much are you much into sorry, my brain is so fried, guys.
Yeah, I'm a
Um
little bit too. I've been sniffling. I'm sorry, friends. Like if some of the things that we've said don't make sense, it's because we are
we're
out
both
of
sick.
it.
We're both sick and it's Monday before the episode has to be released. So like
Yes.
it's today or nothing,
Last
guys.
minute,
It's
and
last minute.
our brains are fried.
Were you ever like super into Batman growing up, or have you like watched many films outside of like Michael Keaton and I assume Christian Bale's Batman?
I've watched Michael Keaton, Christian Bale. I have not watched the new one. I watched the Val Kilmer.
Okay.
Um, trying to think if they're what the other ones
Did you
are.
watch the Nipple Batman one?
Nipple Batman, what the heck is that?
That's the one with George Clooney.
Oh yes, I did watch that one.
Yeah. Okay, so you've seen like the original run and then
Hmm.
okay, so you've seen quite a bit
I've
of the
seen a lot of
Batman.
Batman movies actually.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen
I
quite a
enjoy
bit
Batman
as
movies.
well.
Like when I saw the Christian Bale ones in theaters, so
Yeah, same. I like the Batman movies. I don't really like Batman as a character. He kind of bums me out, but like
I
I
enjoy.
enjoy his movies.
Yes, I enjoy Batman movies. Like I will go to a theater and watch them. And if I am to list out my favorite superhero, never Batman.
No, it would never be Batman.
It's
I
never
also
Batman.
did see the most recent one, and honestly, like I was sober when I watched it. Couldn't tell you what happened in it. Just like
Okay.
washed right off, smooth brained it right out of my head. Where I
Okay.
like it just didn't stick. And I remember
Did you
people being
watch
like,
any
"It's
with
so
Ben
good."
Affleck?
Oh, I watched Wonder Woman, and then I did watch
Okay.
the Justice League. So I've seen Wonder Woman and the Justice League.
I was not sold on
Um,
that. I could more buy into Twilight Guy being
Yeah,
Batman.
I mean he was fine as Batman because like he was that's the thing is like I'm usually someone who I'm like, well, what's the purpose of Batman in these movies? And
Hmm.
like I never watched Batman v Superman because I did not care. But Batman and like Justice League, I'm like, oh, he's the Batman who's supposed to get people together. Fine. I could
Hmm.
dig like Ben Affleck is that guy.
Hmm.
But like there was a weird moment where they like almost tried to be like Wonder Woman and him could have romantic interest in each other. And I was like,
And Batman?
No, thank you. Oh, no,
Wonder
thank
Woman and
you. No,
Batman.
thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. I don't want to see it. I mean, Batman got around in the comics.
I mean, they
Like
all
that's
did.
the things that like sucks about these, where it's like, well, Batman got around in the comics, but I like pulled up a Catwoman article, and it was like Catwoman's one main love interest is Batman, and it's
Mhm.
like, let that woman have sex with someone else. Like, don't make her only have sex with Batman because
That's what I
that's
think
gonna
is
be
interesting
boring.
about like several of the superheroes. You can look up like so and so's love interest, and they have like 50 of them, and then you
Yeah,
look up and like one of the women, and it's like only one.
yeah. Like
Interesting.
it
Okay.
is very, and like Catwoman is his main love interest, but like he has like Vicky Vale, he has Silver St. Cloud because that is the name.
Mhm.
He has Kathy Kane, Sasha Bordeaux, Satana, Wonder Woman, so that is one.
Mhm.
Poison Ivy, Talia al Ghul.
It's like any woman he comes across is a love interest.
Yeah, and it just kind of sucks to like be like, oh, poor Catwoman has to have sex with Batman for the rest of her life. Like, let her
Maggie
go out.
Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, like
What was Maggie Gyllenhaal's name? Rachel.
Rachel, where's Rachel? Um,
And she was
yeah,
actually with Two-Face. She preferred him. Harvey Dent.
Harvey Dent, man. Yeah, I just feel like sometimes Batman is boring, but I do like his movies because his villains are fun. So that's good to know.
Mhm.
But any final thoughts on this movie and or Batman as a whole, Laura?
Everyone should watch this movie a million times because
I mean,
it's
I
it's a fave.
forced my fiance had already seen the movie, but I did force his sister. She did prefer the first Batman though.
Interesting.
She
Okay.
really thought that was zany and fun, and she loved the moment where Joker was dancing in
Yeah.
a museum and just ripping stuff down. She was like, "That was a good time." She's like, "I was
Jack
cackling."
Nicholson nailed it.
I know. So,
I think
well,
honestly a lot of the Joker portrayals like across all the movies are great.
they're so good. They're so good.
They're all very different, but the actors do a wonderful job with that role because it's so open to interpretation, honestly, and it's so out there and strange that I think that actors are willing to just kind of give it their all for it. And
Yeah, I will say
I've yet to see one that I don't really
I
like.
didn't love Jared Leto's only because Jared Leto is a menace to society, so it taints the entire performance when you watch
What
it
one
and
was
you're
he
like,
in?
he was in Suicide Squad.
Oh, I have not seen that.
Yeah, it's not very good.
Okay.
But like he did that portrayal, but Jared Leto is someone who believes in what type method acting. And
Oh,
so
where
he
he
just
like is
terrorized.
Joker.
He was Joker for months and he
Oh
just
my gosh.
terrorized the cast. And it's like maybe you should just try to be better at acting.
Yeah, like take a class or something.
So he's just
Yeah,
the
just take a
worst.
class, Jared Leto. Don't do that.
Yeah. So Jared Leto, very small king, who went to star in the beautiful movie Morpheus.
Hmm. Wow. And we all
uh
know Hannah loved that. Five
I
stars.
just remember we have to go offshore. And then it smash cuts to a boat that says offshore.
Brilliant.
I hated that movie. All right, well, guys, that is our
It's
Christmas
Christmas.
episode. Merry
Batman has
Christmas.
returned.
These Hannah's like some of her favorite Christmas movies are now Gremlins and Batman Return. Batman Returns is already a favorite, but literally, guys,
This has got to be one of your favorites.
I have a Gremlins poster up on my wall nowadays. So like I'm
And
a
you had
huge
never
fan
watched it
and I
before.
never watched it. So
Amazing.
these movies are so important to us to just do a zany Christmas movie. Um and yeah, so we hope you guys enjoyed this Christmas episode. Merry Christmas, Happy
Merry
Hanukkah,
Christmas,
Happy
Master Wayne.
Holidays, Merry Christmas, Master Wayne. We hope you guys join us next week as we do our best of the year. We're gonna be chatting.
Year-end wrap up.
Year-end
Year-end
wrap
wrap
up.
up. We're talking about our faves.
We're going to talk about our faves. We're going to talk about next year, what we're looking forward to, and just, the year as a whole. We appreciate everyone following along with us. We appreciate you guys during this like no rules November, December, as we kind
The
of
no rules fourth quarter.
no no rules fourth quarter, where we just did whatever we wanted because this has been a ton of fun. And we
Yeah, if
kind of
you're still here, we really appreciate it.
and make sure you're starting Legend Born now so you guys are ready
Yeah.
for the new year. Get started on your homework now because you have some time. We should
Mhm.
probably follow
I-
those directions.
We haven't started it. We better do that
We
too.
haven't. Laura, let's go start it.
It's so long. Oh my gosh, I'm scared now.
Guys, please make sure you're doing that. Please make sure you're rating, reviewing, and subscribing to the pod. That's really like it helps us. It helps to talk about
Mhm.
us word of mouth, like just spread the love a little
Share if
bit.
you can share one of
Um,
our posts. We would
and
love that.
if you're so interested, you could sign up for our Patreon. We're revamping the Patreon right now to have like a little few more things going on right now. A couple more 15-minute episodes this week or last week. Yeah, this week we should be dropping a Wheel of Time extra episode
Mhm.
with Sarah of Fiction Fans and CM Kaplan. So make sure you're taking a
Oh, that
look
was fun.
for it was so much fun for our extended look into the Wheel of Time. Or we just started where we're making new bookmarks. So we have a Shiton on the Wheel of Time bookmark that you can print off at home for yourself to just really celebrate season 1 of our pod. And we'll
Yeah,
be doing more in the
there'll be more.
future. So make sure you're
But
doing
there's
all
more
that
tiers
stuff.
if you're able to help us
Y-
out. We would really appreciate it. But
It,
if you're not able to donate or sharing or liking or rating, reviewing, that is enough. And we're glad you're
mhm.
here listening.
Yep, we do have more tiers now. So we have a dollar tier, a $3 tier, a $5 tier, and a $10 tier. So you guys can look over on that. So if you're able, always do that. But if you're not able, just, spread the love a little
We
bit in
appreciate you
other
being here.
ways. And thank you guys all for another year. Bye.
Bye.